Hi, Blue Hawk fans. We're back with an on-campus interview. I'm here with Professor Crossingham. I'll have you introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Sarah Crossingham. I'm an assistant professor in the School of Education.
Where did your journey start as a teacher, and how has it kind of looked?
So I actually started my education journey here at Dickinson State University. So this was my undergrad degree, where I became a social studies teacher. Then after I graduated, I moved to a small rural community called Wishick, North Dakota, where there's less than 1,000 people. I was the only social studies teacher in 7th through 12th grade.
Wow.
So I spent 7 years there working and really getting to know myself as a teacher and as an educator. And then my family made the decision to move back to Dickinson. We missed Dickinson that much. We made the decision to move back. I taught at Dickinson Middle School for a few years, and now I'm officially here at Dickinson State University working as a faculty member.
Yes.
So quite extensive, right?
Yeah. What do you find most rewarding about pursuing a degree in education for your students, and also like for you pursued a degree in education, obviously.
So there's so many things that make teaching worth it. And I know it's difficult for educators right now because the shortage of teachers, burnout that's happening, but it's truly the relationships that you build and those connections that you make with your students. And for me, when you build those relationships and you see your students grow, not only academically, but as a good person, that's what makes it worth it. And you really see those differences that you're making within their lives.
For sure. And so speaking of burnout and shortages, what do you do to teach your students when they hear about all these challenges in education? What do you do to push them to keep going towards their degree?
Definitely. So one big thing that we talk about in my classes is your why. So why do you want to become an educator? So when you begin to really define that, and when that really begins to be your intrinsic motivator, that's what people need to begin to turn to when days get hard. So teaching is not easy. We know that. Most professions aren't easy. So we have to dig back to what is your why and what's going to motivate you day in and day out. So I can't answer that for everybody, right? Because your why is going to be different than my why. But having that be that strong motivator, that's what's going to get you through those tough days.
And what is your most memorable moment as a teacher?
Oh, as a teacher, you're going to see there's a lot, and that's hard to pick just one. So, there's a few that just come to mind when I first think of that. So the first is I was able to learn about the World Peace Games. So I'm able to facilitate World Peace games, and that in itself is very, very memorable. So I'm really, really glad I got that opportunity. Other things were like surprise birthday parties. My middle school classroom threw me a surprise birthday party, which was really, really fun. But I was really reflecting on this, and the thing that really stands out to me is when I was leaving Wishick Public School, I had a group of seniors that I had with them from 7th grade all the way up to their senior year.
Wow.
So I had them for all of their social studies classrooms. And so one thing that I really emphasized in my classroom were current events. So teaching current events every day, that was our bell ringer. We did that day in and day out. So for their final economics project, they made the choice to do a current events broadcast about economic trends. And so I said, that's perfect. What a fun project to end, and I support that for your final project. So as they were presenting it and getting to the very last segment of their current events, they did a send-off to me because that was my last year that I was teaching there. And then they did like a highlight of me as Mrs. Crossingham and all the things that I did for Wishick Public School.
That.
So very memorable. I was sobbing in the back of the classroom because I was so touched that they were able to, communicate that to me, share all of those fond memories that they made, and just, all the things that we did together while I was a teacher there.
I've had you for 2 weeks now, and I already love you. So
thank you.
So I could only imagine what they had to say about that.
It's all good. That's all like one of my biggest memories.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, and final question. We ask it in every interview. What does being a Blue Hawk mean to you?
Oh, so I'm glad that you asked that question because that can be relative. So as a student, being a Blue Hawk could mean something to you versus as an alum, which I am an alum, that means something different for them. And then the same thing as a faculty member. What does it mean being a Blue Hawk? So I decided I've been all of those roles. I've been a student, an alum, and a faculty member. So to me, the biggest connection is the community involvement or the sense of community that you have for being a Blue Hawk. So you feel, as a student, you feel supported by everyone around you. You have that community of your friends that you meet for a lifetime, your professors that you're going to be knowing for the rest of your lives. You might meet your future spouse here at the university as being a Blue Hawk. Same thing as an alumni, that you feel supported by your institution, that when you do great things, the Alumni Association is highlighting you and sharing those great things. And then now as a faculty member, I feel so supported by the community, that from my colleagues, from my students, from my administration, a huge sense of community I feel, and feel very supported. So
yeah,
I hope that answered it for you.
Yes. Well,
Perfect.
Thank you so much for this interview.
Yeah,
and
thank
I
you.
I hope you do some more great things
Awesome.
than you already have in the School of Ed.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
So
Appreciate you.
now to Xander for your in-studio interview.
Bye, Xander.
What's up, Blue Hawk fans? Welcome back to another episode of Hawk Talk. I'm your in-studio host, Xander Beeson. We are joined with a very special guest. I'll have you introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, I'm Maddie Wahl from Glendive, Montana.
Awesome. You are obviously here representing volleyball and track. We're kind of more volleyball because we're in volleyball season right now, but we'll start with what brought you to DSU.
Right, so I came to DSU because I had a really good relationship with Jen. She was the first coach here. Mm-hmm. And she just really made me feel wanted and welcomed here. And I just have always liked Dickinson. It's a very hometown feel, so.
Was the plan always to come here and do volleyball and track, or was that something that just kind of happened when you got here?
So I actually just planned to do volleyball, and then that's when my track coach from my Glendive, my hometown, was like, hey, I really think you should go talk to Whitcop. And then I just said, all right, I'll give it a try, and still doing it, so.
That's awesome. Like we said, we're already in the volleyball season. In your thoughts, how has the team performed so far, and what are you hoping to see moving forward before the season ends?
Yeah, so I'm very proud of my team. I feel like from the start of the season to now, I feel like we've grown defensively and offensively. You know, we're not the biggest team, but we play with a lot of heart. Mm-hmm. And, you know, most teams we play are huge. They're over 6 foot, and I'm a middle who is 5'9" on a good day. Yeah. So. But I'm just hoping that we could pull off a couple conference wins this week, and yeah.
When is your conference? Do you guys do a tournament, or how does volleyball do that?
So conference is a conference tournament, I believe. So this will actually be our first time actually making it there, which is exciting. So we play this week, Thursday, Friday conference games, and then you go into like a ranking of who you play. So this week is a really big week because if we do win, then we get placed a little bit higher, playing a little bit of a lower team. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Obviously, there was a new coach that came in this season, Stormy Simeon. How has the transition been to that new coach?
Right. You know, it's not my first experience as a new coach, but I wouldn't say it was necessarily hard. You know, the only thing that was difficult was the unknown, and I think that's just a growing process of understanding good things happen in the unknown. And Stormy came in and she just did great. Like, she immediately wanted to build those relationships and did a very good job with that. And when she first called me, I remember her saying, you know, I've been in your shoes, like, you're a senior. I was a senior when a new coach took over, and it just became one of the most rewarding seasons, especially for me. So.
Yeah, we'll go back to the track a little bit. How do you personally balance being a dual sport athlete? Because obviously right when volleyball ends, you're into indoor, and then right when that ends, you're into outdoor. So how do you go about that?
You know, I am not a sit-still kind of person, so I like going. So jumping from volleyball into indoor season into outdoor season kind of flows for me. I mean, a small break. I usually get about a week and a half off, and then I jump right into it. But I just like to keep like everything very separate. Like, track season is just track season. Volleyball is just volleyball season. So.
Okay, so that kind of answers my next question. Have you given any thought to track season coming up?
Yeah.
You All-American last year, correct?
Right, yep.
Have you given any thought, or you just been locked in on volleyball?
So I would say, I mean, I'm very locked in on each of my sports, but I feel like right now I'm like 99% for volleyball, and then I got like my 1% of track, just because I do have early on set goals. You know, I do think about what my next season is going to look like. Am I going to All-American? What should I start with, you know? And right away, I think right when I get into track season, I am just, okay, make nationals, qualify for nationals, All-American, hit those bigger heights, you know, so.
I don't think we said it, but she is a pole vaulter. By the way. We didn't say, I don't know if that ever got brought up, but we should probably make that very clear. This question I did not send you because I wanted your true, honest answer. Obviously, you're in a tenured relationship with DSU football running back Braden Zuroff. If you played football and he did track and volleyball, who would be more successful, do you think?
Me, obviously. I would run around the football team to score, not go in the middle. Sorry, Braden.
Ooh, that's gonna. All right, we'll go to our last question. Final question. We ask this to everybody who comes on Hawk Talk. What does DSU mean to you?
I think DSU is just a place of opportunity for me, and you know, I've grown as a person on the court, off the court, and I just feel like I've achieved so much at DSU. So. I just feel like this is a big place for opportunity. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. Yes, good luck with the rest of volleyball season, into your track seasons, and we'll see you guys next week.
We're back with another 60 Seconds with Orton. President Orton, what was your first job as a kid?
Oh, I was holy moly. I did all sorts of things. First paid job was helping a farmer irrigate. So I hauled pipe all over the place and irrigated the land.
Was that out in Wyoming?
That was out in Wyoming.
There we go.
So there you go. You got something done there. You don't do that up here, but you did it down in Wyoming.
Perfect.
God's country.
God's country.
What's up, Hawk fans? It's Emma Welch back with your weekly DSU sports recap. Last week was homecoming week, and the football team took on Mayville, sending the Comets home with a loss with a Blue Hawk victory 49-14. This week, football has a bye week, so our football players are getting much-needed rest. But the varsity girls basketball team is having their home opener tonight at Scott Gym, where the ladies will take on Montana Tech, as well as another game tomorrow against Montana Western at home. The volleyball team also plays on Friday, traveling to Bellevue, along with heading to the lesser DSU on Saturday. And next week, Tuesday, the volleyball will play Minot State on the road. The men's and women's cross-country team are traveling to Ashland, Nebraska for a race on Saturday, so keep an eye out for those results. That's all I have for you folks. See you next week. Hawks are up.